It's that time of year again. There's no escaping it, so you might as well surrender to it. I'm talking, of course, about Christmas music. In my opinion, we're buried for a tight month and a half under the same age-old, worn-out songs. And even when a new track does pop up, it's usually so stuffed with Christmas cliches that they all start to sound the same. Fortunately, there's also a wide range of Christmas music you haven't heard 1,000 times, and that's actually worth listening to in December. So, we're taking a short break from the debut album run in the 10 Essentials series for a special Christmas edition, diving deep into the Yuletide spirit in search of the most beautiful Christmas albums. Have yourself a merry little Christmas because here we go. Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of We're Only in It for the Music, a YouTube series that takes you through the musical universe, from ABBA to Zappa and everything in between and beyond. Click the like and subscribe buttons, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode. But enough of that, never mind the bollocks. We're only in it for the music. Welcome to a special Christmas edition of 10 Essentials. For this episode, I've searched through the Christmas archives to find hidden gems and essential albums to soundtrack your holiday season. Are you all ready? Put on your finest Christmas sweater, pour yourself a glass of eggnog, and let yourself be immersed in the most beautiful Christmas music, or at least a small selection from the endless amount that's out there. Do you hear what I hear? Many people were genuinely surprised when the Nobel Prize-winning songwriter suddenly released a full-on Christmas album a few years earlier. Putting out a Christmas record is often seen as a sign of creative poverty, and together with other cliché moves, like duet albums or orchestral re-recordings, it's something many fans and critics view with suspicion. Plenty of commercial artists have fallen into that trap, but surely not Columbia Records' most successful recording artist, Mr. Bob Dylan. Robert Allen Zimmerman, born into a Jewish family, converted to born-again Christianity in the late 70s, only to seemingly drift away from his faith by the late 80s. At least we hardly hear him perform religious songs anymore, with the towering Every Grain of Sand being a notable exception. Then, out of nowhere in 2009, his Bobness released an album full of Christmas tunes. And while I was initially skeptical, was this really the direction we hoped Dylan would take? The album is honestly pretty entertaining. The musicianship is tasteful, and Zimmy's worn, gravelly voice always fares better on studio recordings than it does during the concerts of his never-ending tour. Of course, these songs have been sung far better countless times before, but Dylan manages to give them his own character. After listening to Christmas in the Heart, you're never entirely sure whether it's meant as a gimmick or a sincere record. But what is certain is that it goes down smoothly during the holidays. And even if Dylan intended it as a joke, it's an exceptionally well-executed one. Bob has always been an elusive figure, so he might simply be a huge Christmas enthusiast. Since 2009 at least, the holiday season gives you a perfect excuse to pull Dylan off the shelf again. At number 9, we find a fairly recent release, a wonderfully relaxed, jazzy album by Norah Jones, filled with atmospheric Christmas songs. Credit to Norah for not choosing the usual, worn-out Christmas evergreens, but instead opting for tracks you haven't already heard 1,000 times. Jones' voice never disappoints, and the production is refreshingly organic and pure. If Norah Jones's dream debut Come Away With Me was already a great album to play during the December months, I Dream of Christmas is the perfect soundtrack for a cozy, laid-back evening round the Christmas tree. A deep bow to a man who elevated the very concept of the Christmas song to a higher level. Sufjan Stevens, the American songwriter from Michigan, who had already made a strong impression with his regular studio albums, released a box set in 2006 containing 5 EPs filled with Christmas music, both traditionals and original compositions. With over 40 songs, not every track is a bullseye or a slam dunk, but as a whole, these 2 hours of Christmas music are a delight to listen to and offer a beautiful musical journey through Stevens' Christmas universe. The accompanying booklet is also worth mentioning. Everything Stevens releases is meticulously crafted in every possible way. The lo-fi alternative indie folk, or however you want to label Stevens' music, creates a wonderfully relaxed atmosphere, with the occasional up-tempo track to break up the overall melancholic mood of the box set. 6 years after Songs for Christmas, a follow-up appeared, Silver and Gold, containing no fewer than 58 songs. It makes one thing very clear: Stevens is not the kind of artist who releases a Christmas album just to cash in. He genuinely feels a devotion to the holiday season and its musical traditions. In seventh place, we find the first compilation album in this 10 Essentials list. A Very Special Christmas is a collection showcasing holiday music performed by the artists of its era. In this case, the 1980s. Christmas music with an edge. We hear pop, rock, and even hip-hop courtesy of Run DMC. And while many people associate Christmas music with crooners like Bing Crosby, this album proves that holiday music can be contemporary without sacrificing the timeless traditions behind it. Artists like Eurythmics, Bruce Springsteen, Pretenders, Sting, U2, Madonna, Bob Seger, and Stevie Nicks all bring their A-game to create a cohesive and vibrant whole. The album was produced in support of the Special Olympics, raising millions of dollars for the cause. Wrapped in an iconic Keith Haring cover, it still stands as a fantastic alternative to the overplayed Christmas standards. Several follow-ups in the series would appear over the years, and anyone looking for something different during the holidays really can't go without this solid compilation. Sixth place goes to none other than the King of the Blues, B.B. King. A Christmas Celebration is a wonderfully warm blues album, with our favorite Beale Street Boy soloing over it in that unmistakable way only King can. For a blues record, the overall mood is surprisingly uplifting, carrying a hopeful tone that shines through both the vocals and the musical arrangements. His comrade Eric Clapton released a Christmas blues album of his own a few years back, but that record derailed halfway through with a techno-style dance track in tribute to the late Avicii. Certainly well-intentioned, but musically a complete misfit on an otherwise decent holiday album. BB, on the other hand, remains consistent from start to finish, and the blend of blues guitar with New Orleans brass gives these songs a wonderfully festive character. And really, you can't go wrong with a voice and guitar tone like B.B. King's. Said the shepherd boy to the mighty B.B. King, "Do you know what I know? All I know is that this is a fantastic album to get you through the holidays." From the blues, we move into country and bluegrass with a stunning record by Emmylou Harris. Light of the Stable combines the very best that Americana has to offer as a musical backdrop for Harris's powerhouse vocals. The album is a pleasant blend of classic Christmas songs and contemporary compositions, including contributions from Rodney Crowell, among others. Of all the Christmas music played on radio stations or in shopping malls, I've never heard a single note of Emmylou's. And that's exactly why it's so refreshing to step away from the predictable musical paths and immerse yourself in the beauty of this Emmylou Harris LP, which, by the way, has been released and re-released over the years with various cover designs. But one thing never changed: the quality of the music. When you think of the Beach Boys, you think of summer, sunshine, the ocean, the beach, and of course, surfing. On paper, it seems almost illogical that this quintessentially summery group would release an album with a winter theme, but the iconic multi-part harmonies make this Christmas LP a true delight to the ears. The album has a light, cheerful tone that fits perfectly with the festivities of the holiday season, but its absolute highlight is the breathtaking "I'll Be Home for Christmas," where the Beach Boys sound like a genuine barbershop quartet. It instantly transports you to a beautiful black and white film from the 1930s. You can practically see the scenes unfold when you close your eyes. So in the end, an album where the Beach Boys sing about snow and Little Saint Nick instead of surfing isn't strange at all. It's downright wonderful. We enter the top 3 with none other than the genius of soul, Mr. Ray Charles. His album, The Spirit of Christmas, is a wonderfully warm soul record in which Charles, with his unmistakable character-filled voice, gives each song a deeper emotional weight. The album features a few fantastic up-tempo soul bangers, but also slows things down at times for beautifully atmospheric ballads. Ray injects so much soul into well-known Christmas songs, even something as familiar as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that the track takes on an entirely new shape. Honestly, Ray could sing the most trivial Christmas tune in existence, and you'd still fall head over heels for that voice. The album cover may not be the most striking one out there, but it does nothing to diminish the musical content of The Spirit of Christmas, which remains an exceptionally delightful holiday album. In second place, we find the other king, not the king of the blues this time, but the king of rock and roll. Yet Elvis Presley was never shy about a good ballad, and he could deliver tender, heartfelt performances, especially when it came to holiday songs. The rocking opener, Santa Claus is Back in Town, kicks things off brilliantly and immediately shows why Elvis was unmatched as a vocalist. It's also great to hear Elvis let his gospel roots shine through on this album, giving several tracks an added layer of depth. During his famous 1968 comeback special, Elvis's manager, Colonel Parker, pushed for the inclusion of a Christmas song. But Presley wanted nothing to do with it, and instead chose to perform the epic If I Can Dream, much to the Colonel's frustration. Still, Elvis clearly wasn't opposed to singing a Christmas tune now and then. He released several winter-themed albums over the course of his career, and this one may very well be the finest of them all. And then we reach number 1 in this 10 Essentials episode, an incredible compilation album curated and produced by the brilliant, though undeniably controversial, producer Phil Spector. A Christmas Gift for You from Phil Spector. Originally released in 1963, it's the oldest record on this list aside from the Elvis album. But the music is so timeless that its inclusion in any top 10 overview of essential Christmas albums is simply unavoidable. Darlene Love, the Ronettes, the Crystals. You'll find them all on this magnificent collection of Christmas songs, delivered in Spector's signature wall of sound production. These days, songs are often lazily sprinkled with sleigh bells in an attempt to cheaply manufacture holiday spirit and score an easy hit during the festive season. The music on this album, however, is a true labor of love. Every track is meticulously crafted, and that's why, 60 years later, they still sound as powerful as ever. The album even closes with a Christmas message from the man himself, something that, with today's hindsight, lands with a slight cringe. In the McCartney series with Rick Rubin, Paul recounts how Spector once warned the Beatles that they were giving away all their best songs on the B-sides of their singles. Spector advised him to put an instrumental version of the A-side on the back and sell it as a sing-along track. McCartney felt this would be dishonest toward their fans and wanted nothing to do with it. So while Spector certainly showed his commercial instincts in other moments, you don't hear that cynicism on this Christmas album. If anything, it sounds like he genuinely felt love for the kind of music that could brighten up the holiday season. A wonderful album for Christmas time. A truly beautiful gift for the holidays. Of course, this top 10 of essential Christmas albums is only a tiny slice of what's out there, and I could easily put together several more lists. Because alongside all the cliché holiday music, there's fortunately also a lot of truly beautiful material in circulation. Since we couldn't include many other great records, here are a few honorable mentions that are definitely worth dusting off in December. Naturally, the crooners of their era belong to the Christmas season. Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, and Tony Bennett are absolute no-brainers when it comes to holiday music. Their voices are velvety smooth, and the arrangements swing with effortless charm. If anything evokes nostalgia, it's Christmas with the Rat Pack. For those who appreciate Emmylou Harris, it's well worth giving the Christmas album by the Man in Black, Johnny Cash, a listen. Often more gospel than country-influenced, it even features a few spoken-word reflections from Cash about his childhood Christmases in Arkansas. It's not a sing-along extravaganza, but it is a beautiful album straight from Cash's heart. There are countless individual Christmas theme songs that far too few people know. Perhaps something for a dedicated ranking episode in the future. But to close out the honorable mentions, here's an artist for anyone who enjoys a bit of humor during the winter season. Seth MacFarlane, creator of Family Guy, happens to have a golden voice and has recorded not one, but 2 Christmas albums. And no, he doesn't sing in a Family Guy character voice. He uses his own wonderful tone, which admittedly comes closest to Brian, the family's talking dog. If you love the previously mentioned records by Sinatra, King Cole, and Bennett, you'll thoroughly enjoy this contemporary crooner album. And that wraps up the 10 Essentials, the special Christmas edition. Next time, we'll continue with the 10 essential debut albums, and the 80s are up next. What's your favorite Christmas album? Let me know in the comments section below. If we all share our favorite Christmas songs with each other, hopefully we'll never have to listen to Mariah Carey again. For now, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This was the final video of 2025, but Season 2 is still in full swing, so you'll see me again in 2026 with the next episode in the series. Listen to all the music from this series through the Spotify playlist, and check out the social media pages on Facebook and Instagram for all updates. Because I will follow you if you follow me. You'll find all the links below this video. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Tell your friends about the channel. Why not? It's much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And in the meantime, drop the needle, press play, and remember, we're only in it for the music.